great question. Let's start with, who are you? How do I do that? Well, who are you?
So I'm a journeyman electrician for Imperial Electric.
What's your name?
My name is Chris Scott.
Okay.
Sorry, we jumped into this whole thing.
I know.
Yeah.
But you literally are like, who?
Yeah. My name's Chris Scott. I feel like I wear a lot of hats. A dad, electrician, a drummer. I like to dabble in carpentry, lots of little fun hobby type things.
Yeah.
But I think those are probably the most important. Dad, electrician, drummer. Like I said, I've worn a lot of different hats over the years growing up, working from like the high school age, trying to find my path. I feel like where I'm at now is finally a good mindset and a good direction of where I'm going. So
nice.
Yeah, I'll be wearing some more hats as the time comes.
Yeah, but it's easier to put on different hats when you found your niche.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Or a groove that you're like, yeah, I like the long play. We can be on this for a while.
Yeah, that's having a comfort where you really do feel like an expert in something changes everything, because you finally walk around with this confidence and you can look at things completely different. Like when I worked retail, I knew I was a good people person. I knew I was a good salesperson. I was a good trainer. There's a lot of those skills, but there's just something about kind of being thrown into that, kind of finding your way, kind of being guided, but in such a weird cutthroat industry that by the time I got out of it and I was faced with, do I go back and work another job like that, or do I try to find a career that actually teaches me the skills, commitment, but
Well, to learn those skills, you've got to go through a journey, man.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
And that time period is important, but it's all connected to a mentorship.
Yeah.
And working with someone and being shocked a few times, but also learning how not to do that and look out for your buddy who's helping you do the same job or
Absolutely.
job.
Well, and that kind of goes a little bit into like my ideas of why, even though I just said I've learned how to cook and a lot of that kind of stuff from YouTube, there's a big difference from, I like to be a hobbyist and I like to cook because it serves a purpose, but I would never jump into a restaurant kitchen and ever claim to be a chef.
Right.
And I feel like there's so much of that going on right now. There's so much of that. I can find the internet for all of my answers and I'll learn everything. And being someone that is an expert, doing what I do as a profession on a day-to-day basis, I can tell you now, there's stuff I come across on the internet all the time where I'm like, you really have to understand the theory and the principle of what they're talking about to understand, because if you just jump in and do what they're saying, you're going to cause some fires, you're going to hurt some people. But
you can DIY yourself into a lot of problems.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Because that 7-minute YouTube video is saying, this explained, right? And 100,000 people have seen that. You're like, oh, I'm going to watch it too. And it's explained. And a guy says, all right, remove this bolt. You right? And then you get to a point where you're like, I can't go.
Yeah.
And I can't even leave it like this.
Yeah.
So I have to put it all back together before I can then take it to a professional.
Yeah. Yep.
I feel like an idiot.
Well, and then there's a lot of stuff out there too. Every trade's got it. I'm sure every part of life where you're like, yes, 9 times out of 10, that's correct. That's the majority of how it is. But there's those times where that's not the situation. That's not the case. And so now in life, having gone through all of that, I walk around with this confidence because I am an educated professional. I can look at things and understand what I'm getting myself into. I know my limitations. I know, I need to back off and let the person that knows more than me show me. I'm humble with that. That's all right. But I walk around with a different confidence to where now I can look at different obstacles or different things and say, okay, there's 10 doors open in front of me. I'm not afraid to jump into any one of them because I always have this like safety net to fall back into for one. And that also was the foundation of everything. So do I want to...
it's a foundation, not a safety net where you fell off something. It's literally, that's stable.
Oh, yeah.
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 That's good. I mean,
because even, I always want to stay true to the union because that's really what gave me the education. And there's no way I would have come as far as I have going the non-union route. They just don't have the resources in place to do it.
It's a totally different support system.
Yeah. But I know deep down inside, if I had to put food on the table, I have a skill that isn't just tied to the union, you know? Right. If the union completely fell apart, I still go to work the next day. Mm-hmm. If the economy collapsed or whatever, and I had to, and all the little local shops started going away, I could say, well, hey, it's frowned upon, but I'll do side work. It's not legal, but my skill's still there. They didn't take anything away from me in a sense. I can still show up the next day. And having that as like that foundation changes everything, because like I said, if you go down one path, you're like, hey, this didn't really work.
But I keep saying the word confidence, but you're actually saying competence.
Yeah.
Because you have that for yourself competence level that you're like, actually, I know that when I walk through that door, not exactly sure what's going to be on the other side, but I got it. And if I don't, I'm going to call my buddy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And we're going to look at this together and figure it out. And you're both trained and have that experience and the support system, all those different things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's confidence.
It's crazy. It's like I said, I've never been in a situation like that before in my life to where I keep saying confidence.
Well, it's a competence. You are confident because of competence.
Yes. Yeah.
But you said you're also a drummer, and with the drummer, you have a skill.
Yeah.
But it's crossed over that skill takes care of you in a different way.
Yeah. I mean, I know.
Or your kids and people, your community in a different way.
So I took lessons. One of my life mentors, Kyle Bowdy, was probably one of the only reasons I didn't like get crazy into drugs in high school. I mean, he was just that like solid foundation for me. And, with that, I was being educated for years in how to play drums, how to read music, how to compose. And some of that you're learning on your own. Right. But it's just strange. And some of it I think comes with age. But man, I had a lot of insecurities about being a drummer, because that's a very vocal instrument. Not too many people.
Pretty much out there in your face, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, it's like even a person that doesn't play music can go, man, that drummer sucks. Yeah. Or even if you're not that good, but you've got enough of it together, then go, oh, hey, that guy's awesome. All right, cool. So, it's a little bit of both. But, oh, man, I remember just being so insecure with a lot of that. And it was like I would show up to shows, and until I became friends with the other band that was playing, and it got better and better the more I played, it was like a competition. It was like, for me, I had to be better than the drummer that was playing for sure before me. Like if someone was better playing after me, it wasn't as nerve-wracking, but I'd sit there with my warm-ups, and it was this whole structure of how I had to prepare for a show, how I had to play a show. And I think it served me well because it allowed me to prep the way I needed to.
Right.
But I look back on it now and I'm like, man, there's probably a lot of friendships and relationships I could have had in music had I gotten out of my head on a lot of that stuff and just been like, dude, you're fine. It's music. It's not about being better than the next person. Just
that only happens when you're competent.
Yes.
And the confidence.
Yeah.
Then you can play with it.
Exactly.
And then your buddy laughs at you and you don't take offense because you're just playing with it.
Yeah.
That didn't work.
Yeah. Yeah. You look at other people. I remember, and I can admit this because I'm not ashamed of it. At the time, you look back and you're like, oh, what were you thinking, dude? But I mean, there was like friends bands that I didn't really care for. And you would start to see them hit success. And because I didn't care for their style of music, dude, I was like, those guys are ridiculous. What are they doing, man? Like, I would just trash them. I can't believe
people like that.
Right? No, I mean, within our band, it's like the other guys in the band were closer friends with them. And I remember just going like, I hate their new music, which is still to this day don't really like. But I couldn't even respect the success that they had. I would just shit on the point just to be like, man, those guys are terrible and they're selling out and they're just trying to do this and that. Instead of just going, I really don't like the music. But man, that is so cool that they're doing what they're doing. Yeah. They're from a small little town and look at the success they're having. Look at the opportunities they're getting. But going way far back when I was insecure and everything, oh man, I'd bash them all the time. And finally, once we started getting out there and eat some humble pie, but then you also get some confidence behind you and you're like, I'm content where I'm at and I'm content with my playing and the way the band sounds. All of a sudden it was like shows just started becoming really fun. Meeting new people was really fun, but it took that competence to be secure in my abilities. So I've had a similar journey with music. It just took a lot longer.
Well, in this environment, you had a greater team of support.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So it makes it go quicker. It's
Absolutely.
like your pressure cooker.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're connecting socially, but there's also a lot going on in the community that people are not feeling confident because they realize that in some areas of their life, they're not really competent.
Yeah.
And they also don't have a team, a united, front.
Yeah.
And so one of the things that we're doing is connecting with people and letting them have the opportunity, just like this, to say, actually, that's why people pay me the money, because if you do lose your power, even if I don't have the right billboard on my truck or whatever, I know that I can help you.
Yeah.
And you know me because we're neighbors or, part of a community, and there's a competence to that. It really is encouraging, but also humbling in the reality of how many people hire some guy who doesn't have any competence. They pay him a lot of money. He destroys their home, right?
Yep.
And then at that point, you guys get called in to be like, okay, so there are codes for a reason, so you don't burn your house down.
Yeah.
I'm glad you called me when you did.
Yep.
But now it's going to cost you to fix a mess that really didn't need to be in the first place. And so right now, kind of society's feeling that vibe.
Yeah.
So what would you share with your community, realizing that your competence is in this realm that will give some lady who's like, oh my gosh, if the power goes off, they're going to start eating people?
There's definitely, I think my general message for sure with almost everything that's going on right now is just, hey, everybody just breathe. It's something a lot of people that are close to me know. I've been going to therapy for almost a year now, and still even to this day, last Monday, even though everything going on, I still did a video chat because he's an elderly man and he doesn't need to be taking the risk. And I was a little panicked about things because I got caught up in that storm for a minute. And, one of the things we were talking about was with news, no matter who it is, there's just a lot of noise with this going on because it is a 24-hour news cycle. Mm-hmm. They've got to be, because it's this big thing, they've got to be reporting on it every hour on the hour.
Breaking news.
Yeah, and it's just, you don't want to spend all your mental capacity on this all day long, especially if you're at home. So the advice he gave me, which is typically more than what I would even do, but look at the news once in the morning. Give yourself like a 10-15 minute time frame to read the reliable source that you have, and then just ignore it for the rest of the day. And I know everybody's home right now and they're stuck inside, but if that means turning Instagram off, turning Facebook off.
Ding, ding, what's this? Oh, more drama.
Yeah. I've had to silence a couple group messages that I'm a part of because it was just that, guys, I am actually trying to get something done right now, and I know you aren't, but man, this thing is going off like crazy, and it's just, sometimes it's funny, it's the memes, and you're like, oh, that's funny, but you're still not leaving that. Even if you're laughing at the situation, you're not removing yourself from it. Right. So I would say that's probably my biggest advice is just breathe. If you're at home and it sounds hippy-dippy, whatever, meditate and learn how to meditate if you've never done it. A podcast that I would love to give a shout out to would be Mikey Likes You. And it's Mike Catherwood that did the Loveline podcast. Okay. He's only 7 episodes in. And this was all before the craziness started happening. But he really talks about the same kind of thing. Just take care of yourself. It's about good mental health as well as good physical health. So if you have time, listen to that. That would be something I'd recommend. You'd probably go through it in about a day or two. But good content and
people
just
are supposed to
breathe.
Sit tight, right?
Yeah.
So they got a day or two to figure it out.
As far as kind of a long-term kind of thing, I would say I'm not in this place, obviously now with the profession that I have, but if people are finding themselves in a spot where they're panicking, where they've maybe realized that I can't do my job anymore, maybe you're in a sales position that's thrown, maybe like an entry-level sales, and now you're stuck at home and you don't know what's
waiters
going
and
on.
waitresses, which is an entry-level job for some, but also a really good pace rhythm for other people. Not that it's only an entry, but it's like, no, this actually works in a weird way for a lot of people's schedules, which is why they do it.
Yeah.
Especially with kids.
But if they're finding fear with what's going on right now, and they're maybe starting to see this, I would say with any situation, try to look at things in as positive of a manner as you can, and look at things for what they are. So when I worked for Best Buy for 7 years, and I was climbing the ladder, and I remember I had a portfolio of awards and recognitions I could throw out there. And we were hearing, there's a restructure coming, which comes every 2 to 3 years. It'd been a couple years since the last one. We knew it was coming. And this girl and I were peers. We were both equals. And we had this pretty much the same thing. We were in like the growth departments. We had all these awards. We made the store the most profit. And we both sat back and we're looking at everybody else and we're like, well, they're not going to get rid of us. We have seniority over everybody else. We're set.
Yeah, so you have seniority.
Yep.
You have the experience.
Yep.
You've got all the pieces of paper and little gold stars that they've given you over the 7 years, right? You have the weird letter of recommendation from a guy that doesn't even work there anymore, but it's on letterhead, so it must be official.
If I have to interview for my position again, I know I'm going to blow over, because that's what we've been taught to do. Like,
you're playing the game.
Yeah. So we both were like just laughing. We have nothing to worry about. Stop stressing.
See you on Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we were just about to start a tour, and
when you were in your band. So
the
same time. Okay.
Yeah, that's the main reason why I'd stay with Best Buy as long as I did, because I had vacation time.
They would let me your schedule.
Yeah, they let me take good chunks of time off, and it paid well. And so the Ataris were doing their big reunion tour of like their big record. We got asked to open up for a couple of their shows. Cool. So we're in Fresno opening up for them, like main support. And I was told, you have to be back tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock for this meeting. And I'm going, look, we're playing the next night at Slow Brew. I will come in when we come back, but I'm not. That means I have to leave this show at 2 or 3 in the morning, whatever it is, drive home, come in on a couple hours of sleep for a meeting? No, I'm not going to do it. Well, I got forced into doing it. And I remember driving back and I'm thinking, like, something's up. Like, there's no reason that they would be making me jump through these hoops if something wasn't up. And I found out, you lost your job. And
they could have told you that, let you play your gig, earn a little money, get some...
We still played. I drove back at like 3 in the morning.
Oh my gosh.
And then played Slower that night on a couple hours of sleep, which is a separate little tangent. That was like probably one of the most real shows I've ever played, because I was just letting it out. I remember I was
got fired from the job you thought you were going to stay in for a long time. Yeah. And you're beating away on the drums.
Oh yeah. I remember like,
that was one of the best shows.
There was, nobody was there, but everybody was there. It was like a sold out show. Like that was for the band, that was like hitting our pinnacle. That was like the top. And I remember like just being in the moment and not knowing it. I emotionally let it out just playing that night. It was by
so
far
nice.
one of the best. Oh, it was, I'm so lucky I had it. Jumped to a week later. I'm like in the parking lot bawling my eyes out, losing my crap, going like, I don't know what's going to happen right now. Like this was what I thought I had. And people are telling me, oh, Verizon's hiring, AT&T's hiring, like all the people that I was friends with from like LA.
Yeah, but that's like filler. You know,
well,
it's like, we know you got to pay your rent still, so you try this. Versus direction. Yeah,
they gave us a good severance, so I wasn't too worried about that. Like I knew I had time to figure it out. And, I bought a house. I was married. My singer was in the same position, and they were talking about having kids. So I knew, okay, things are about to slow down. We've been pushing the band. It didn't make it to that professional, we're going to do this full time. And around that point, we were also kind of going, is that really what we want?
Right.
Like, do we really want to be on the road 6-8 months a year and not see the families that we have back at home? So it was kind of that reality check. And finally, that's when I went, you know what? I'm going to try to get into the union and do my apprenticeship. I've been having...
No, did you know about the union prior to...
Yeah.
No, I knew that you know about unions, but like specifically you knew guys within the... Okay.
Yeah, my dad's best friend is a contractor, and from like high school on, he was always in my ear and my dad's ear going, you need to get in. This is what you need to do. And it fit my skill set. Man, he was spot on. I mean, he knew me from a child.
Literally knew you.
So he was like, yeah, no, you got the skills and the knowledge to be able to do it. You're a great fit for it. And I was like, yeah, but man, that 5-year apprenticeship, I don't know, man. Like I might
you put in a
tours.
7-year apprenticeship at Best Buy, right?
But you know what? I would never take those experiences away.
No. But if you were to go into Best Buy and be like, this is a 7-year apprenticeship, and at the end of 7 years, we're going to decide to hire you or fire you.
Yeah.
You might not have done it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, to commit. Yeah, absolutely. So I guess kind of to be reminiscent of all of what's kind of going on now, if you're feeling like you're in fear, you don't have a job to go back to tomorrow, because there's a lot of people that were just laid off. I know a lot of the dealerships were just laying off people left and right now because of what's going on. Maybe people feel a little lost. I would say that this would be the time to slow things down, get rid of the noise, and try to figure out at this point in your life, is this where you want to be? If that's a waiter or waitress and that fits everything and that's awesome, then don't worry about it. Your job will be there tomorrow. It might take some time.
Enjoy like a vacation and then go back to it.
Now it sucks. There's a lot of stress that comes with all of that. Maybe look at this as, wow, I wasn't as prepared for something like this as I thought I was. Maybe I should always try to keep some stuff on hand. I mean, I feel like there's always a lesson to be learned with all of this. But if you find yourself in a spot right now where you're saying, I'm a waiter or a waitress, just as the example we've been given, and man, you know, I'm really not happy where I'm at right now, and I just lost my job, and I don't even know if the restaurant's going to open back up when this whole thing's said and done. Take this as an opportunity. Research what's out there. If you've got a passion or something that's always kind of been tugging on you, if that's an apprenticeship, whatever, take the time to research it. Figure out what you got the time now. If it means you got to prep for an aptitude test, do that. I mean, that's what I did when I was laid off, and it was like almost summertime and all my friends were hanging out and stuff. I was bogging down trying to prep myself for an aptitude test so I could test in to try to get as high of a score as I could, so I could try to beat everybody else that was in construction already, that had experience with tools.
You're totally like, how do I get a head start? And they already have the head start.
Yeah, and I'm like, okay. And
I gotta play catch up here for a little while.
Dude, it was crazy. I got in so fast that I think it was all that prep and like mentally committing 100% to it that got me where I was. Because I was laid off in April and I started in August. And there's people that'll be on that list waiting 2-3 years.
And they don't get into the program because they don't pass the qualifying level.
Yeah, either they won't score as high in like the aptitude test, which is really algebra and reading comprehension. Okay. Kind of essential for our schooling. You got to be able to read something and understand it.
Yeah, but if you take the next couple weeks to bone up on algebra that you haven't thought about in 15 years, it'll come back to you. You just got to spend a little bit of time playing with it.
Yep.
Then you pass.
Yeah, and then when I wasn't doing that and trying to brush up on all my skills in that regard, I was out trying to refine my resume and everything. I remember I showed up. It's so funny to think about it now because I know I got laughed so hard when I showed up.
Right, so you show up.
I'm like Best Buy, clean cut retail, and then like I was the guy that showed up like business professional. You know, I had the tie on, the button up shirt. I'd have like the sweaters, like glasses. My hair's all perfect, like nice slacks. That was pretty much
uniform.
Like I would throw a uniform on from time to time, but that was my thing. I took pride in that too. I liked it. They let me do it. I liked it. I show up to essentially say, hey, I want to become an apprentice. That means I will jump in and dig ditches. I will physically move material around the job site. I'll do all this crazy labor. But look at me.
Work.
Yeah. Like, I mean, there's guys that show up. They're just covered in dirt and mud, and they're sunburnt, and like
they're looking at you in your slacks.
and that's like when you go on those interviews, it's a panel. It's like 10 people, 5 on each side, and most of them come from the field. So that's who you're interviewing in front of. On top of my appearance, when they first see me come walking in, and they're like, what the fuck is this guy doing? I'm handing out these like super crazy professional resumes where I made like my own business cards that had like all my skill sets on it. I've got like 5 solid letters of recommendation. I remember some of it had helped where I'm sitting there and they're like, her name is Sherry Brenner. She is in charge of Nika, and she's sitting right to my side. She was awesome. I had a good connection with her from working at Best Buy.
Yeah.
And I remember she was like, how in the world did you get a CHP lieutenant to write you? Oh, okay. It's your best friend's dad. All right. But you know, I had like things like that where it was
that
like,
best friend's dad, I know. And he would not have written you that letter if he didn't actually mean
oh,
what he
I know. I remember he was very, like, he was happy to do it, but he pointed out how big of a deal it was
But
that
let
he
me
did
tell
it.
you.
Yeah. I had a contractor that my dad's best friend. He's about to retire, and he's been a one-man shop for this whole time. He knows everybody in the local. He never wrote somebody a letter. So when they saw that, like, oh, you know Brian Gibbons? And it's like all these old boys are like, oh, whoa. And they saw what they said, what he had said. It like kind of threw him off, but I still remember it was hilarious, showing up like super professional. This is what I'm going to do. This is my plan.
This is what's happening, people. And some old guy's making a paper airplane out of it and be like, let me tell you what's really happening.
Yeah. Well, one of my first bosses I ever went to work for is like one of those old school guys.
Nice.
Amazing guy, but definitely old school. I remember he looked at it. I was like, he looks at me and he goes, can you use a shovel? I can. And, you know, and fortunately, I had a good answer. I said, I've been doing landscaping with my dad for the last, like, ever since I got laid off. I've been working with him on his business, moving decomposed granite, digging ditches, ripping out lawns. So then I think they realized, like, oh, okay, you're taking yourself professional for this. But yeah, you really aren't afraid of physical labor.
So professional versus afraid of physical labor?
Yeah. Oh, because we've had people, you interview them, they look great on paper, show up the first job, and this just happened like 2 years ago. Guy shows up in like skinny jeans. Day one, they hand him a shovel and they say, hop in there and start digging. He made it to like break time and was like, peace out, guys.
I'm done.
Like out of the whole program, everything. And you're like,
oh, not just like that day.
Not just
like,
that
I need
day.
to get better gear.
No. He was like, this is what this is about? Yeah, I'm done with this. And yeah, never saw him again. You're like, wow, dude. So yeah, I mean, they got to be kind of careful. They got to look at it as like, you're smart. Okay, that's good. You take yourself professionally. That's good. But you got to be able to do the work. Like, you still got to show up and realize some days are going to suck. Your back's going to kill you.
You can't fake calluses.
No. Yep.
Doesn't matter how pretty your resume looks.
Yep.
Here's a shovel.
Yep. You don't have them, you can build them, but you can't be afraid of them.
Yeah. But if you don't learn how to use it right, that shovel will bite you back. So.
Oh yeah. So it was a journey by far. I mean, you'll hear a lot of guys talk about like the apprenticeship was by far the best experience they ever had. Like anytime people talk about stories, like you get a lot of the older electricians around and stuff, they almost always go back to the apprenticeship. Like, because when they were an apprentice, those were some of the best days because it was all right and understood you were going to fuck everything up. People were going to laugh at you and you were going to make your mistakes, but everybody pulled each other back up. And looking back on it, you're like, well, I was learning. See, and that's cool.
It's interesting too, because when you have the person who's in the ditch who then leaves, someone still has to dig the freaking ditch.
Yeah.
And so it's not like a poo-poo on you as much as the rest of the team going, all right, guys, now we got to pick up the slack.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
And we thought we had somebody to help.
Yep.
But he's gone. So who's in the ditch? Not it. You know? And that's where the competence comes.
Yeah.
Because if you get to a situation where you're in a position where you're like, I don't know what to do, or somebody say, hey, why don't you go over here and do this? You can figure it out.
Oh, yeah.
And so right now, as a culture and the planetary scale, we're dealing with something that we can't see, right?
Yeah.
The calluses, like I taught my boys already, and they're 7 and 5, that when you shake someone's hand, you engage, you hold, you don't crush, you know, your support, but you're also feeling.
Yeah.
And you can feel if that hand is soft, you can feel if that hand's weak, you can tell if they have calluses or not. And my boys, we call them shields.
Okay.
Because we use shields to protect us, right?
Yeah.
And it's like a pair of work gloves that we carry with us to help get the jobs done.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Makes sense. And so a callus is something that you harden yourself against, like a wall, versus a shield, which is another tool.
Yeah.
That's as mobile to get out there and protect you, you know? And so that understanding, but applied on a level where you can't see the bad guy. You're not connecting with the people who are your good guys. You are told a bunch of stuff on the talking heads continuous drama loop that is scary.
Oh, yeah.
Meanwhile, everybody who's out getting the jobs done are still out getting the jobs done.
Yeah.
And so the people who are afraid in their boxes, I was at a grocery store this morning. The shelves were full.
Yeah.
It just takes time to let the person stock the shelves. That's their job. They didn't have any time because their kids are out of school. They need to be at home watching the little ones, so they came in late, like we were talking about the waiters and waitresses, to come in and do a shift when everything else is taken care of. And now it's taken care of. But now people aren't going into the stores and they think there's no food.
Yep.
Even though it just takes a little time.
Yeah.
And so with the Electricians Guild or Union, what's the difference between that?
Well, because there's a bunch of different layers and a bunch of things to it. I would say really...
With that group or community,
yeah.
How are you guys not only addressing the role you provide in the community, how are you addressing it for this dilemma that we're all facing? But also, how can you encourage the person who's like, I hate my job. I'm kind of glad they fired me. I didn't even know what severance was until they offered it to me, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to take the next couple weeks to look into something.
Yeah.
How would you?
So, I mean, just like every group, because I don't think anybody is really immune to what's going on right now. I'm sure there's...
We're literally not.
Oh, yeah.
Floating through the air, people interacting. We have distances. We're not sharing the same cups, things like that. But what else?
We have a panic going on, even within our union. I'm seeing emails come, people are sending me stuff like the Bay Area especially. Bay Area is pretty much just completely shut down. That's where I was going to say, you have difference with a lot of us where like a shop like us, we don't really do a lot of big construction. And that's what right now is on the verge of shutting down is, we're doing a project for Google right now. And there's a lot of talks that project's going to shut down because it's new construction. Right. It's not really...
So we have a situation where people are in a panic.
Yeah.
Rightly so when they don't feel confident because their competence isn't really... A friend of mine was telling me last night, he goes, I have never looked at my staff and said, I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't have a freaking clue. What are we doing today? What's going on? Well, I have to fire you.
Yeah.
And after that, I lose my job when I'm done firing everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for us,
don't know.
There's a difference. So, again, you kind of get these different groups within the IBEW. You've got guys that
What's
do...
IBEW?
The International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers. Basically, it's the union that encompasses a lot of people, but pretty much what you would consider an electrician that goes to build commercial work, that services in some areas, you'll see a little bit more in the residential area. It's pretty much the commercial industrial
it's a larger scale.
Oh, by far.
You're running, it's not light work, running electrical wires, it's big scale.
Correct. So...
Which is why new construction is so important because that's the infrastructure in the buildings.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So you have that group of guys that are on construction sites doing jobs that were dirt 6 months ago, and they were planning on opening up a new apartment building or school or whatever in the next 6 months. Those people right now are the ones that are potentially going to be sitting at home as far as our electrical workers go. The difference being a lot of those people that do those type of big construction jobs, they understand, and it's taught a lot and talked a lot through the apprenticeship and from everybody's mentors and all the elders in the group, that those type of jobs always have waves. You'll hit a point where, okay, we're in the dirt phase, we're doing all the underground, there's a lot of work. And then everybody understands, once it gets past to that, things are going to drop off again and there'll be a couple layoffs. And so you're going to go home and you sit on the books and you do what you can. So they really try to teach a lot of financial independence that, hey, you're working right now, maybe there's overtime, and you're getting these great paychecks. That's awesome. Don't spend it like that money comes forever.
Right.
Because you'll see people run out, they get new toys, and they're super excited. they usually have to learn that lesson the hard way when they realize 2 weeks later the job's done. Oh, what do you mean there's no more work right now?
The repo man comes and takes your boat.
Yeah.
It's like, I've seen it. Yeah.
So, I mean, as much as it really sucks, and those people are afraid right now that they're losing their jobs or that these job sites are going to be put on halt, we have a lot of people within our groups that are trying to do what they can to protect those workers, protect the contractors, and make sure that when everybody's allowed to go back to work, their place is still ready for them when they get to come back.
Right.
I think they're very prepared for a 2 to 4 week to 6 week shutdown because mentally you're always kind of preparing yourself for that job to finish.
Now, have you talked, maybe not you specifically, but the IBEW? Mm-hmm. Do they talk about this, like, put out information? Like, guys, you got to think of it this way. We're just at a seasonal lull between transitions. Seriously, if I told you last month, hey, end of this month, we're going to have like a 2 week slowdown, blah, 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 they'd be like, sweet.
Yeah. I can't necessarily speak to anything because I haven't seen any communication in that regards.
Okay.
But knowing the good foremen that we have on a lot of these job sites, I'm assuming once there was talk that it was coming to California, what potentially could happen looking at New York, I trust a lot of the foremen to know that they were probably talking with their guys. I know a couple people on some big jobs right now, and you talk to them and they're like, yeah, it's a bummer. I don't know what's going to happen, but no one's panicking.
Right.
Because I think they've got that mindset that, okay, it might not be here. For shops like us.
And we can take proactive measures over that 2 to 4 weeks that we come out better.
Yeah.
You're more prepared or more had fun with my family or whatever it might be.
Yeah. The other shops like us, we're kind of caught in this weird, we had like little service type projects that we're trying to wrap up. I mean, basically we're getting caught up right now, and so to speak. The jobs that are still there, where they're happy with us showing back up and there's no risk. Yeah. We're showing back up. Yeah. I know my boss has even reached out to a couple of the campuses where we're working right now, and he's saying, look, if you need me to fund some of this, because I get it, your money's tied up right now with what's going on, that's fine. We have the time, we have the resources, and we have the ability to get in to do all the stuff that maybe in 6 months you wanted done, but
we're going to have to go back a month to reset and redig trenches and whatever
and have
it
the
might
hurdles of, like, the campuses we go into are occupied. So when we go to shut stuff down, we're stopping production.
So it's already stopped for you now.
So that's what we're kind of talking about. We're trying to, my boss is trying to do a really good job to make sure that the guys that want to work, that, because he's saying, hey, if you're not comfortable, stay home.
Right.
It's fine. Your job will be here tomorrow.
Most hardworking guys are very uncomfortable just staying home, though. So they're happy to get out.
Yes. Yep. So there is a part of that where he's really trying to take care of everybody. And also, there is an opportunity for us that it's like, hey, normally we might have to do something a little dangerous. I hope nobody's watching what I'm saying right now, at least apprentice-wise, but we tie stuff in hot all the time, which is dangerous. And sometimes not necessarily.
I will say it this way, because it's important for you to say, it's dangerous, especially for the DIY guy.
Oh, yes.
You'll die. Right?
Yes.
For someone who's competent, it just means they have one less resource to get the job done.
Yeah.
And so I used to do a lot of technical scuba diving.
Okay.
And people would be like, you scuba dive on your own? You go by yourself? Don't you need a buddy? And I'm like, oh, that's the kind of diving you do.
Yeah.
There's different kinds. You know? And I'm okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm competent. Yeah.
Yeah. No, sometimes we do it out of convenience because you look at something, you're like, I might get technical. That's an eye-line panel. The safety is built into that panel. Should I rack that breaker in right now? That's the most dangerous part of this. I really shouldn't. I should wait for a shutdown. But this panel feeds 10 other panels, and to shut this panel down means I got to shut those 10 labs down. And they can't do that because even over the weekend, they'll still have processes running. And so most of the time you're like, I've done this, 100 times. Get in there, you do it. You're good. Yeah. You know the safety precautions you got to take for it.
And you take them.
Yes.
Which is why you're still here.
Yeah. What's nice about something like this now is like, look, nobody's here running productions. let's shut that panel down and do that type of thing. You know,
Right.
usually once a year we're allowed to do preventative maintenance, where we actually shut things down. We retorque them, we check levels, we make sure everything's safe and good to go. So it's like, well, let's just look at that as kind of where we're at now.
Yeah.
We can't do it to the whole campus, but we can do parts of it, and it'll save us at the end of the year when we're
Even if you
wrapping
have
up.
to do the initial funding,
Yeah.
which is really just covering the overhead expenses or labor
Yeah.
or whatever to make the job happen.
Yep.
But within a business, you send the invoice at the appropriate time and it gets paid.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, I mean, I've reached out to a couple people personally that asked me to do side jobs, and I'm usually too busy to do it. And I've been reaching out to them like, hey, you know, I have some money in the bank, so it's not gonna, I don't want to tap into it, but it's
Right.
not gonna kill me. The thing I have is time right now. Usually I don't have time to do any of this type of side work. So I know you wanted to get these lights put in. I will fund you for the lights, as long as they're not too outrageous.
Right.
I will cover my labor clearly. And when you've got the money, I'll tell you how much it is. When you've got the money, give me back on the money. If that takes 6 months to get established again, and then you pay me out, that's fine. But I think for me right now is it's like, yeah, idle time is crazy. Like I can only do so much around my yard and so much to the house to where I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm tapped and done. I don't want to stare at a computer all day long. I've got computer stuff I'm doing, but yeah, that's just
And
not
then the
my...
venues that maybe you did recharge at, going to the bar with your buddies and getting something after a hard day, or out to a restaurant, or like there's sometimes I go to a restaurant just so I don't have to get up and get more water. It's just
Yeah.
like, I'm so tired. I just need more. Just bring me water, you know?
Yep.
And that is worth it. And so I'm happy to pay. And so what it's sounding like is the how for this is let us do our jobs. We're really good at it.
Yeah.
If you're not really good at it, maybe you should study a little bit over the
Yeah.
next couple of weeks and maybe shift gears to some aspect of life that you can be good at.
Yeah.
And then look into professional organizations that this is what you guys do.
Yeah.
So the IBEW as an example, is there a local chapter? Is
Yeah.
that how
Yeah.
it works?
Almost
in the area?
every... In California, it starts to get a little scattered around, but San Luis Obispo has
California.
one. Yeah, yeah. San Luis Obispo has one that covers that whole county. Santa Barbara, which is where I went through, has one that covers all of Santa Barbara County, LA, Bay Area. Almost all those big areas have them. It's really easy to track down where your local one's at. Same thing with the plumbers and the pipe fitters.
Yep.
The HVAC tin knockers. Yeah. All those trades, they all have those resources and put into place. If anybody ever had questions on if they should go union or not, there's a lot of stuff out there. If you ever bump into me on Instagram or in person, I'm more than happy to answer that, because I very easily could have gone down a different path, and I'm glad I chose the one I did. But yeah, no, with every industry, there's always a group that represents that. I think it's just a matter of knowing what you want to get into and what you want to do. If you want to be a professional musician, there's unions for the musicians. Do you want to be a studio drummer? Do you want to be...
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much of that, again, I think this down idle time really could be spent reflecting on life and saying...
Versus binge watching Pandemic on Netflix.
Yep.
Talk about put yourself into a tailspin, right?
Oh, yeah. And honestly, if we get to the point where I don't have anywhere to go and I'm stuck, I'm sliding the couches out of my living room, and we're going to make a little baseball diamond. Take the pictures off the walls, and, why not? It's like the one time...
sleeping, pads that you have people come over and whatever.
Yeah.
And we pulled them out of the closet to be like, now it's a wrestling match.
Right.
Come here, boys,
Yeah.
and they feel like they're ninjas and jumping off the couch and landing. The whole time I'm trying not to destroy the house.
Of course.
Because I'm going to have to fix it, right? But still giving them the reality that life is fun.
Yeah.
Let's go play. We're supposed to stay inside. Let's go play.
Yep.
That's an attitude. It's not a destination, right? And just like with competence, that is an awareness and an attitude, not just a piece of paper with a gold star on it.
Yeah.
Or some people are just even embossed. They push designs into it,
Yep.
And so that is very comforting.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you're like, and I'm taking care of my family, and I'm taking care of myself, and I'm looking for a bigger picture, and I want to be part of that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and make your situation positive. Just because you're where you're at doesn't mean you have to go, oh, everything's going to end. There's people that need to be a little more concerned. If you're high risk right now, of course you need to, if you've got a family member that is, of course, be conscious of the family member. But yeah, I remember I look back at a lot of stuff from childhood. And at one point we were so poor, we were living in a campsite. Now you're
lucky you had a campsite? Damn.
So I remember coming home from school to our campsite.
Yeah.
And my mom went to like the dollar store or whatever and got some Halloween stuff and like hung it up in the trees. And it was like, oh man, we're homeless. Or, dude, we get to roast hot dogs over the campfire. I didn't, as a kid, that didn't traumatize me. 5 or 6, I think.
Dude, you were camping.
Right?
You didn't know?
That was awesome.
That's the part of the parent's job, is to not put this on the kid.
Yep.
Because they actually have no clue what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
No reference point, except for the emotional energy that you're shooting at them.
Yep.
And I've taken my kids camping in the backyard.
Yeah.
Set up a tent. Do this. Oh, what if it rains? It's not going to rain.
Yep.
You know, they have this thing called the weather app. You know?
Yep.
And then you can do something that you think you have to go away for right in your own community.
Yep. Oh, my son wants to camp all the time. Even we had the little bonfire pit in the front yard. And finally the other day I'm like, hey, you know, let's do a bonfire. And I started and he's like, oh, we got to go get our tent and we got to do this. I'm like, no, we're not
ready to full-blown go camping.
We're not going camping right now. And he's like, but Mickey Mouse does, because there's this book we read where Mickey goes camping. I'm like, we're not going camping. We're good, man. Like, let's reel it back a little bit. We're going to sleep in our beds. We will do this. But it's freezing ass cold right now, and I'm not sleeping outside, and I can't leave you out there by yourself.
Yeah,
but
you're not old enough.
Yeah.
Just wait, though. When you're 10 or 8, 6, it gets younger. You know?
Yep.
It's in the backyard. 4.
Yeah, right. But yeah, now it's like they want this type of thing. Like I took him to the grocery store, and I could traumatize the kid and be like, oh my gosh, don't touch that, don't touch that. What did I do? I don't want him touching stuff.
I need you to look for toilet paper.
Now.
We're going to look everywhere, look under stuff just in case somebody was hiding it.
Yeah.
You know, and you're like, whoa.
Well, I go, hey,
walk around.
We're going to play a game right now. We're going to play a game. We don't touch anything.
There you go.
Did he get traumatized by it? Does he even know why we're playing this game? No. But I didn't get worked up about it. He doesn't know any different. And it's just, he's like, oh, okay, we're going to play a game right now. Cool. Right on, Dad. I love playing games. Like, they don't want this. And if anything, you got
versus the game of point out the sick person. Look at that person.
I mean, you see some people though, where it's like, because he's like, oh, why does that person have a mask on?
Right.
I go, oh, they just don't want to get sick. Like, oh, and you know, he's curious, like, you know, why don't we have masks? I go, well, because we're not really worried about getting sick right now. Well, but hey, what's our game? Yeah, what's our game? Let's not touch things. Let's not add to the problem, but let's not be freaked out by it. But like, they're so in the moment. They're so like, kids are the best thing that you could have right now, in my opinion, because they're real. They're in the moment. They don't care about anything else that's going on. If you didn't tell them, they wouldn't know.
Dude, being a dad's the best job ever.
It is. And it's like, you know, I could have the news on and it's like coronavirus, this and that. And I look over at him and he's playing with his Legos and he doesn't even care that I'm there or not. He's just like, doing his little, oh, hey, how are you today? And he's like doing his little thing, and I'm like, you know, right? And I'm like, you know what?
It's great.
That's depressing right now. That could get me caught up in the whirlwind. I'm gonna go play cars right now, and we should be doing that.
Heck yeah.
Because that's the time. The time is now. How many of us work too often where we wish we had time with our kids?
Yeah. If last month we had time change, they said, guess what? We've totally screwed up the calendar and the clock and everything else. We're going to do a leap week.
Yeah.
Where we're going to give everybody, and we're going to send you $1,000 because this is ridiculous, and we're going to do this, and we're going to do that, and you're going to all have a leap week. Everybody be like, this is different. It's unprecedented.
Yeah.
But I'm game.
Yeah.
I get to do whatever I kind of want and wish I should have been doing the whole time.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep.
That's good advice.
Yeah. I'm trying to stay. I mean, I am going to work Monday, but I don't know how much longer that is. So I'm just mentally trying to prepare myself to stay positive.
I will say it's not going to work and how long, meaning I'm not sure how much work I have to do because there's always more work.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You're at a point where you're going, I'm not sure if I'm going to be allowed
Yes.
to continue to do the essential jobs that I do That's the word people are using to describe everything because it's essential.
Yeah.
And I think we're having a new understanding of that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like even the cannabis industry all over different states and cities is like, no, hold on. The dispensaries and delivery and the medical, but also this other aspect, recreational, this is essential for the community too.
Yeah.
And so to have like this awareness that there are different essentials than the maybe top 4 that are listed on some website, you know?
Yeah.
That's helpful too.
Yeah.
Bigger picture.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny to look at that list. I was looking, I'm like, seeing what's like allowed and not allowed, and I'm like,
jeez.
Okay, we can panic. We can think that there's going to be martial law. That's all noise. But if you actually look at what they're saying, I'm like, it's not too much different than what I do normally. I mean,
most of it's called common sense too.
Yeah, I'm not really, I like to go with my friends and go grab a beer at, Fig Mountain or something, but I'm not doing that every day.
Right.
Typically, my day is kind of the same. I go to work, I pick up my son, we go home, we make dinner, we goof around, we do bedtime, maybe I do some computer stuff.
Do some
go
other
to
work,
bed.
Go back, start over.
So it's like, yeah, I didn't have plans to go to Coachella or whatever.
Right.
That sucked for the people that planned, but like what they're saying, like you can still go out and hike. You can still go ride your bike. They're just saying, don't go to the heavily populated areas and spread this thing. Be responsible.
Right.
We kind of owe it to our community to be respectful and responsible and say, yeah, something's accepted, something's
accountable.
not. Yeah.
We were speaking with a gentleman a few days ago where he was like, no, for reals, I was in New York City, in Chinatown, eating dumplings 3 days ago. Then I spent time in LAX. Then I spent time in JFK. Then I was this like little aluminum cans flying through the air, like the whole deal. How about we do this over the phone?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't know any of that backstory. I'm glad I do now.
Yeah.
I don't want to go to your house and interview.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, and it's not because you're afraid that your health, but you just don't want it to spread.
Yeah.
And that's very respectful to have that take on it. Yeah. So I think we just got to be conscious of all of that kind of stuff. And he said, if you've got the downtime, give yourself some mental clarity, even if it's just chilling out and just stop listening to the news. That's all I can just really keep saying. Like, just don't feed them, because then they're going to stop feeding you. Like
It gets overwhelming.
It does.
Yeah.
We're doing this.
That's why we're doing this.
Yeah.
Yeah. For reals.
Yeah.
I asked my wife before I left, honey, do you need me to see if there's anything at whatever?
Yeah.
Stores. She goes, I'm not kidding. She says, see if they have milk, because you went to one store and they were out of milk. That was the reference earlier. I said, okay, I'll check. She goes, if they have toilet paper.
Yep.
They have toilet paper. Just see if we can get a few other rolls.
Yeah.
Because there's still a reality that people don't know how long this is going to last.
Yeah.
And that is where there's a lot of uncertainty.
Yeah.
Right? If they did say it was a week, okay,
everyone would look at their supplies and go, oh, then we're good.
Or,
hey, you need a roll of toilet paper?
I got 50 rolls.
Yeah.
That will last me a week. You know?
Yep.
I'm good. But if you don't know how long it's going to end, a lot of people, like I work with agriculture and different things and gardens and other aspects, and I've called seed companies and they're like, Ryan, we're closing down because we're overwhelmed.
Oh, yeah.
Because everybody's like, if this is going to last 3 days, cool. If this is going to last a week, cool. If this is going to last 2 weeks, fine. If this is going to 6 weeks, 8 weeks, kids are out of school till September. What? And then they're like, I'm going to have to plant a garden. I'm going to have to get stuff moving.
Yeah.
I'm going to need to take some of these things and look longer term.
Oh, yeah.
And that is a humbling reality. That is reality, but it's also not necessary in the same way right now to drive a panic.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, no, and I think it's healthy to reevaluate your life a little bit too with some of this, to where the idea of a garden, like I wanted to do a garden for a couple years, and I was going to try
Before the coronavirus?
Before the coronavirus.
Oh my goodness.
And I just never
There
really
was life
pushed myself, and I was like, yeah, no, next season. And
Yeah,
now
you
I'm
were
like,
only becoming an electrician.
well, yeah.
You were only,
I was juggling maybe a little
5-year apprenticeship program.
But yeah, I mean, it's like, you look at it now, I'm like, okay, well, if this points out anything, it's really how excited was I when I saw broccoli and squash in the grocery store yesterday. I was ecstatic. So I'm
It's
like,
even cooler when it's coming out of the ground in your backyard.
yeah. So let's reevaluate things. Let's get some healthy habits and stuff going. And for everybody that's still freaking out about everything, that big rush in the very beginning is what wiped everything out. And I don't know if we were talking about it. And the shelves have
been stocked since then.
That's, like still toilet paper is scarce. But it's going to come back because the people that have 2 pallets in the garage.
Scarce? Toilet paper is scarce because it's an item people buy every other month.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't have to be stocked the same way because 12 packages will last you a couple months.
Yes.
And now that dude just took 12 packages, and now it's gone.
Yeah.
And so that supply line just takes a little time to catch up, but it's already catching up.
Oh, yeah.
It just needs to stop being every time.
Exactly.
Every time
all those
one comes on
companies
the
are
shelf.
still producing all that. Yeah. I mean, they're probably doing more of it than anything right now because they realize that there is the influx that they need to be producing twice or 3 times the quantities.
I hope it creates an awareness about what we wipe our butt with.
Right.
We take trees that take time to grow, years, right, to harvest so that we can use it as a one-time use and flush it, right? Versus there are other options that grow every year. Biomass can be turned into paper that you can use for all kinds of stuff, including that, while then saying, let the forest grow.
Yeah.
You know? And it shifts
you listen to Joe Rogan? He's been talking about bidets for like 2 years now.
There might be a surge on bidets,
There
right?
has been, actually.
There you go.
There is right now. I forget where I was hearing it, but there has been this big influx when people get bidets. And it was one of those where I had listened to Joe Rogan. I'm like, I don't know. But now I'm thinking, like, if I could put one in my bathroom, you know what? Why not?
Shoot a little warm water up in there. Hey, why not? Then I don't have this toilet paper. See, but that's the competence where you go, yeah, I know what this is about. I'm fine.
Yeah.
Oh, it's true.
Yeah, it's funny. So yeah, a dream house. Probably do the bidet.
Yeah, there you go. Those are the dreams.
So the next time in 50 years when something like this happens, I'll be like...
But you're going to have to hire a plumber. No. I think this reality is what a lot of people who aren't connecting to other people aren't feeling.
Yeah.
The laughter, the reality check, the understanding that actually we kind of got this.
Yeah.
That's why we have all these professionals out there. And there's transition, but a lot of that's perspective too.
Yeah.
And to not allow... I think it's super important, like you said, to turn it into a game with your kids that doesn't draw attention to what is still an unknown.
Yeah.
Right? It's still an unknown. Why are we telling them it's catastrophic?
Yeah.
If it gets there, they'll see it.
Yeah.
They'll experience it. Those are social life traumas that you don't have to explain because it's World War II and this and that and all these other experiences. But this doesn't have to be that because we're not there yet.
Yeah. Well, and if we really thought that that's where it was going, you hear a lot of people that have like terminal cancers and stuff, and when they finally kind of give it they're done with the treatments and stuff, the last thing they want to do is dwell on the fact that they're dying. And so they try to live. They try to surround themselves around the people that they love, doing the things that they love. If they said, I've only got 1 month left to live, maybe they're not even going through the treatments. They just found out. A lot of times they'll say, I'm not going to do chemo. I have 1 month. What's chemo going to do? Give me another 2-3 weeks. But then I go through that whole process. No, I will just be on my way and I will try to live this last month like it means the most to me. Not that we should be thinking terminal.
Sometimes they live 6 weeks, 2 months, 2 years longer. Yeah. Because they started living again versus, all right, I'm going to die in a month.
Yeah.
That's my expiration date.
So if I really thought I'm going to die from this coronavirus because I've got whatever it is, and there's nothing anybody can do about it. There's no cure for it, nothing. Do I want my son's last memories of me as his father about panicking and going out and trying to stock the shelves way past
Fighting
what I
somebody
might.
about that last roll on the show, right?
Like if I get it, I've got 2 weeks and I'm out. Well, why would I stress out about 6 months worth of toilet paper? Like I'm gonna want my last 2 weeks to 4 weeks or whatever it is, spend with my son laughing and doing all these things, because if I am gonna die, and it's gonna be because of this coronavirus, I want him to remember me in a whole different light. I don't want him to be like, yeah, no, what I remember from my dad right before he died was, man, he was stressed and panicking and just freaking out, and I was scaring me, and I didn't know. Like, no, you don't want any of that crap. Get all that muddiness out of the water. If that was really the case, you would want to spend your last time enjoying your time.
You're in your mid-30s, is that right?
Early.
Okay, fine. Don't have to be. I'm not that old. I've seen videos of guys and gals in their teens and early 20s, like sharing lollipops, licking toilets, handlebars at the grocery store, right? It's like the Corona challenge. It used to be about drinking alcohol, the Corona challenge. That's a whole other thing. And that is not a good idea.
No, I mean, come on.
But that's because the perspective is the invincibility of youth.
Yeah.
Versus a perspective of, no, I'm competent in this. We got this. I'm not sure about. You're licking toilet seat. What the hell's wrong with you?
So weren't you the kid that was eating Tide Pods last year?
Oh my gosh. See, and it's things like that where you're like, okay, should we have a talk? What's going on, buddy? And that's part of that uncertainty. That part of you wants to just put up the bird and flip it off and say, whatever. But I also have to look out for other people. Yeah. Do my job, take care of responsibilities, because I'm going to be here when this is over with. Yeah. And so is my community.
And let's be respectful. Because I have to remind myself that there are people that are at risk. There is still probably a good chunk of people that are going to die from this whole thing. I don't need to be posting memes on Instagram, putting everybody down for freaking out. Like, for one, that's their business to freak out. If that's how they are going to deal with this, I don't need to contribute to it. I don't need to poke fun at it. It's just no class, no taste. But especially when it's like, well, you know for a fact you're going to be here in 6 months. Yeah. Or, hopefully, if the coronavirus doesn't take you out, hopefully it's not a car.
But if it does, then I'm not. So I'm not worried about it at that point.
If you're that 18, 19-year-old that's doing that, like, come on, buddy. Like, it's not that funny. You would be devastated if you end up finding out that your grandma got it and passed away from it. Like, let's just all, let's chill out. Basically, the extremes need to just, chill out a bit and come to the middle a little bit more. Like, you need to stop poking fun at it. It's not, for some people, it's real. And you need to stop buying up all the goddamn toilet paper. Just chill out, dude.
Well, just chill out. Agreed.
How can we help people?
I think we already did that. But he wasn't paying attention.
I was paying attention. I'm asking again. Just so, how can specifically,
Well, we talked about it from the electrician perspective, but this is right. This is dad perspective too. And we talk about with the kids. I want to help people by not causing more messes, more problems. And some people are so concerned on so many levels with no foundation, right? None of that stability created because of it, the perspective, that they see me out doing my job, puts them into a panic attack, even though, like you were saying with the work that you have to do, my exposure is 0. Yeah. But the benefits are all positive. Yeah. Can I keep doing my job? Yeah. And at that point, you go from your house, which is your box, into your truck or car, still isolated within your space, just it's mobile. Yep. You go to where you do your job. No one else is there. Literally, it's easier to do your job now because no one else is there. You don't have to shut all the power and everything off and harass them. And then I get to go home, back to my kids and my family. Yeah. Who is actually safer because they're not in school and they're not this or other things.
Well, there's also other repercussions to what's happening right now, aside from just everybody getting sick and high-risk people passing away. Everybody's talking about this with the economy right now too. And so that's kind of the other part of it is I don't see anybody that's high risk. My family.
But you see the results of the.
Well, what I'm saying is like I don't
impact.
interact with people that are high risk. My dad wouldn't really be considered high risk, and even at that, it's not like I see him every day. And right now, we're both discussing that we can FaceTime, we can do whatever it is, but we'll let you be in your little isolation as much as you want to be, and that's fine. Same thing with my mom. She's in New Hampshire. All my family's in New Hampshire. I am not. There's no way that if I got the coronavirus, that I am going to directly give it to somebody that is of high risk. So that's what I mean by I don't really have that contact with that. So if my family is healthy and not of any type of risk for the getting the virus and it being detrimental, I need to be respectful to the community, of course, but also me having a job is still keeping the economy going, which is a part that we do need to be considerate about as well too. And when these businesses are starting to bounce back, it's going to be the people like us that were able to still go to work, that still had a paycheck. We'll be the ones that say, hey, you know what? Normally I wouldn't eat out as much, but I'm going to go down to this place because I understand that they financially need to. And the people that had to stay home, that took a financial hit, they're not going to be the ones running out going, hey, let's go get sushi tonight. So,
well, you understand that as on a smaller business scale too, where you're like, no, that's on that person.
Yeah.
This business owner has to have people come through the door so they can do their job, so they can go home and take care of their family and other things. And usually those are the people who are also the waiters and the waitresses and the busser and the cleaner, because it's a family establishment, it's a community business, or it's like, no, the name on the sign is actually the guy behind the bar, or and at that point, usually you would go and sit. But because of the circumstances, now you just call it in and you smile. I got a fist bump on an elbow yesterday, right? And like nobody even knows how to interact because he's like, I kind of want to hug you, but I don't want to shake your hand. And they're like, yeah, all that's true. And so it was like, I put my elbow up and he fist bumped it. Okay. We're all in that trying to figure it out phase. And just like your apprenticeship, and it's okay. Yeah. And we can laugh about it. And I was joking with my kids about how do you say hello to a group of people standing in a circle? And so I got two little boys, right? And we're walking around like a little chicken, like walking in a circle, like rubbing elbows. And they're laughing, and there's a little chicken dance and the whole thing. Or life.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, it's going to be crazy coming out of it. But we are going to come out of it. Yeah. And there's still going to be struggles beyond this immediate struggle. And
there are a lot of struggles right now beyond the immediate struggle.
Yeah.
And that's where people are so focused on one thing that they literally can't see to everything. But they're so focused on that I'm hearing people from other parts of the community that are like, I'm blind, I'm deaf, I'm paraplegic, I have this. I need someone to go grocery shopping.
Yeah.
And the caregiver that I depend upon is now taking care of who is most important to them.
Yeah.
Don't forget me.
Yeah.
And so I think that there's going to be consequence to this where we see members of our community that we don't really know how vulnerable they are because they put on the show or the look. Yeah. That you're like, I didn't realize that person depends on some other person to feed them or to this or that.
Yeah.
And so we as a community also need to tap into the other people that we interact with that may be needing some help in a weird way that isn't normal nowadays. So,
this might be a little bit of a tangent from what you said, but you said it a couple times and it kind of rang true to me. So we were talking about working electrical in a hot environment where there's risks and everything associated with it. One of the biggest things we always try to preach in the apprenticeship is the scariest thing about electricity is you can't see it. Mm. If I handed you a hot wire right now, you can't see the danger that is right there until you feel it, until you get caught up with it. And that's kind of, in a sense, like what's going on with this. You can't see this virus. We don't know its potential damage. And so I think that kind of comes into being respectful and being responsible and trying to have your eye on the bigger picture and not just being so focused that, well, this doesn't impact me, and so everybody else that doesn't agree with what I'm saying needs to just shut up because there's no risk. This is ridiculous. Well, no, but you do need to be conscious of the bigger picture.
Right.
When we get into a hot panel and you work, you can't just be focused and go, that copper bussing right there, that's the potential. Because no, yeah, that's what's going to get you. But it could be the fact that you didn't put a barricade around yourself,
right,
and someone comes walking down with the cart and bumps you into that panel.
Yeah.
Or you're pulling something in and something slips and that's what hits and arcs in front of your face. It's invisible. You can't see it. You know where the potential is, but you got to have your eye on the bigger picture, and you got to be able to take a step back and look and go, what are all the risks? What is all associated with doing what I have to do right now? And I think kind of in a sense, and I don't know, mentally, I just kind of tied that connection. Yeah. It's kind of like what you're saying. This is invisible. It's scary. We don't know about it, but we need to take a breath, have a different approach to it, and go, okay, yes, this is scary. Maybe not for me, but for somebody else. We need to take a look at our surroundings, and we just need to be respectful and cautious with this.
Right.